Hey folks, it's Maxie here and welcome to a new TEW2020 video. It is the final stop before we head to Double or Nothing, and this is our Legends Appreciation Show, which is AEW Legends of the Sky, where tonight we'll honour the likes of Mysterio, who's retiring, and Jeff Hardy. This follows a run of these type of shows that we've done before. We had the Phenomenal one, and a tribute to AJ Styles, and a Mission of Justice, which was a tribute to the Stinger. There's a lot of matches here. There's a good few storyline things. There's a few fantasy matchups. Just really just to have a lot of high flyers on the show, because you're obviously having a lot of good people over the years that have been Legends of the Sky. So we're going to see a few appearances here from people that have been in the save briefly, some people that have been historically high flyers. So I've brought in the likes of Rich Swann, I've brought in Psychosis, I've brought in Juventud Guerrera, just to name a few folk on top of that. We have had obviously the run towards the Owen male and female tournaments. The semi-finals for both of these take place tonight, so the winners of those matches will obviously take the place at Double or Nothing. That's where that'll happen. The men's had a big injury in the first round, and it was someone that was slated to be in the final, so that has resulted in a storyline change, and it messed up a really big plan, and we have now lost Darby Allin for a year because of a severe concussion. So it lost him, we lost someone else on a minor, in fact I think I'll be able to show us who it is. Who was the other concussion? It was Ren Narita who got a normal concussion. So we're missing AJ Lee, who will be coming in as what will she be doing? Probably a managerial role. She's retired, but I kind of want to get her in. Obviously was Darby Allin concussion, Kelly Perez will be in as a manager, Jushin Thunder Liger as a road agent, Kenny wasn't planned to work the show anyway, so that's fine, but he'll be working for New Japan, obviously, as the IWGP United States Champion. Let's hope that's not the case for Double or Nothing. I wouldn't want to miss out on Kerry. Matt's obviously out for a long time as a Starlight Kid, and I've stole Steve Carino to be a road agent as well. So, without further ado, let's crack on. Hope you enjoy it. Roughly about 19 segments, and I think it's 5 pre-show matches. Got a lot of people on the card that wouldn't normally be on pay-per-view, but they're high flyers, and obviously just went with the ICW Flying Circus for my graphic. So we might have one chance at a 100 rated match, but it is more so just pushing to have some pretty cool stuff in honour high flyers. So let's do it. So your first of your pre-show matches saw Matt Sydal return to team up with obviously his former kind of protege in the form of Dante Martin as Top Flight. Completed the trio. They took on William Regal's faction of Tyler Bate, Zack Sabre Jr. and Pete Dunne, and it was a decent pre-show match as Tyler Bate, Zack Sabre Jr. and Pete Dunne defeated Matt Sydal in Top Flight in 13:26 when Pete Dunne pinned Matt Sydal with a bitter end. A 72 here, a nice wee opener. These are all one-off appearances, so you won't see Matt Sydal back again. But I felt like it was a good opportunity to kind of showcase what he could do. We might see more of the heel faction here. They had a little bit of an angle on the last Rampage, but we'll speak on that further in the show. Moving along, I decided to give Sammy Guevara a matchup against Fuego del Sol's friend. Decent pre-show matchup. Sammy wins in 7:47 with a 6:30, and this got a 73, so pretty decent, and that's with Sammy off his game. And the 90,000, so I think that's been affected by the lack of major stars. Obviously, you've not got MJF wrestling, you've not got Walter wrestling. Been here with a decent pre-show match. Private Party picking up the win over Lince Dorado and Mascara Dorado. Rich Swann and Samurai del Sol and the GYV. At 11:23 when Mark Quinn submitted Samurai del Sol. A pretty respectable 74 here. Del Sol only by 32, so he's either completely not got over or he's in a massive physical decline. See if we can take a look at this one, because that was a really poor score for him. Being rusty, so it's more a case of he's just not really worked a lot. Obviously, we kind of had him hovering about at one stage, but never really utilised him, and WWE never re-signed him. So a 74 overall, a good opportunity. A lot of these guys on the card, and Private Party are main tag team here with the win. Former tag champs, of course. We then had a 10-man tag. And it was a decent match up here with a team of Quintero, Zachary Wentz, Trevor Lee, Dox and Tez Ford, defeating Flamita, Kushida, Jordan Oliver, Laredo Kid and Ray Horace in 10:06 when Tez Ford pinned at Ray Horace. Tez were going to start pushing him a bit further. He gets a big frog splash victory. 67 overall. I just felt like there was more people that were going to utilise on the heel side than the baby faces. Kizla, Riddle Kid and Ray Horace were one-off deals. So 67, not too bad. We jump straight into the action on the main show, and it is the American Dragon Bryan Danielson taking on Pac. Bryan Danielson has turned babyface. This is due to the heel faction led by William Regal, of course, with Zack Sabre Jr., Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. Tried to take out Takeshita, of which Bryan Danielson and Daniel Garcia stopped it. Both turning babyface. Daniel Bryant did not, the new gen, he's staying heel. But it's more of a mark of respect by Danielson and by Daniel Garcia to Takeshita leading up to that matchup. But Pac, Danielson, I thought was a good opportunity to use it. Bryan's obviously lost a lot of his popularity. He can only wrestle events now. Big, massive physical decline. We're on the final run of the Dragon. But great wrestling, good heat. Pac with a win in 12:05 with a brutalizer, because he's obviously still a main active competitor. 82, not too bad. I feel these guys would do better, but I accept it's nowhere near their physical primes. After the matchup, Danielson just says some words to Regal. He says that he was a part of the reason that Takeshita got attacked, and he basically says that he's going to make sure that this young man really impressed him, and he's going to look after his back basically. So if those three have got a problem with Takeshita, we've got a problem with Danielson and Garcia. Whether we go 6-man tag, whether we have Takeshita defending it against say Pete Dunne or whatever, I'm not too sure right now, because I'd quite like the TNT Championship to be showcased at the event, but we'll see how the rest of the card goes down. We then had a bout that had superb wrestling and good heat, as Yuka Sakazaki defeated Io Shirai in 14:53 by pinfall with a magical girl kick. This is a semi-final matchup, so I think, did Yuka beat Bayley? I think Yuka beat Bayley to qualify. I'm already struggling to remember, I only booked these matches earlier today. But the main thing is, Yuka into the final, a 78 overall, which is a bit of a shame, considering an 88 and an 85 performance from both women. Yuka's just incredible, always scoring great in-ring performances, so someone I can really trust. And I'm looking forward to seeing how she does in the final. Obviously, both winners will get a championship match over the summer. Doesn't need to be straight away. I want to try and build some of the programs up. Next up, we had another 8-man tag, and this time with some of our high flyers. And in this one, it was a good wrestling match with decent reaction from the crowd. And together, could say the luchador team of Andrade El Idolo, Bandido, Barbaro Cavanaro, and Dragon Lee defeated the team of Ace Austin, Chris Bay, Buddy Matthews, and Myron Reed in 12:40 when Andrade pinned Myron Reed with a Brilliante driver. 82, pretty solid stuff there. Andrade is going to get a push in the future. As you can see, he may be turning to the dark side. We then had Jeff Hardy's final matchup, and a decent matchup with him defeat Swerve in 9:18 with a Swanton Bomb. I know normally you would put Legends losing on the way out, but I just felt let's have a good feel-good moment here. Swerve won't take too much of a loss with his pop cap. He'll get that back in no time, and Jeff will say bye-bye in a 72 rated match. We then had a little nice wee match up here. I brought Brandon Cutler back for a one-off appearance, and he took on the Super Elite's Nick Jackson. And here it was a decent matchup with Nick giving Brandon some offense, but defeats him in 7:45 with a 450 splash, a 72 overall, 29 for Brandon, and an 89 for Nick Jackson. I feel that'd be a nice wee moment to have at the event. We then have a little hype package. Now, there's 3 guys backstage. It is from the Super Elite. It's Jay White, Kevin Steen, and Adam Cole. So basically, Kevin Steen won his matchup to qualify for the semi-final, as did Jay White. Jay White was not meant to win. He was meant to lose to Darby Allin to give us Darby Allin versus Kevin Steen. So now we're in a situation where it's Jay White and Kevin Steen against each other. And basically they're trying to convince Kevin Steen to do the right thing and lay down and let Jay White win. They try and talk him out of it, and Kevin's just like, my whole family's here. I want to try and put on the best performance possible. I was so unlucky when I faced Walter on Dynamite in Canada. No, it was a 5-star match. I think I get a 99. I couldn't believe it. So I wanted to do something big for the Canada show. So he's obviously doubting this, and Jay White says, you better do the right thing, or there will be consequences. That's a 76. Worryingly, there's not really been any good angles so far, so that might see us have a poor show. Next up, good matchup. Jon Moxley defeats the protege of Tyler Black. Of course, that's Ben Carter. And he defeats him in 12:07 with the Death Rider. 78, pretty standard stuff there. Good to see that they seem to go on in terms of the matchup. My fear was maybe a clash in styles and no chemistry, but 78, pretty good. And that leads to a post-match angle where we see both Tyler Black and Ben Carter start beating down Jon Moxley, but who makes the save for Jon Moxley is, of course, Shooter. It is Shota Umino who comes down, fights them both off, and saves Moxley for a beating. That's why I dropped the title on the Carnage brand, their Evolve Championship. We were firmly always going to book Umino and Moxley versus Black and Carter at Double or Nothing. Let's start bringing the youngsters through with their real life mentors, you could say, and that is in 82. Moxley was a real star here. Then I had another one of our nice matchups here, and it was about to have a decent reaction from the crowd, but subpar wrestling. We had Dominic Mysterio, a babyface here, team up with his dad Rey Mysterio and Rey Fenix on his return here against the team of Juvi, Psychosis and Penta, because obviously there's issues between Rey and Penta, or Rey Fenix and Penta. And it was a win in 8:07 when Mysterio got the babyface pop innovation when he defeated Juventud with the 619 into a West Coast pop. 63 as you would expect, obviously poor in-ring performances for Psychosis and Juventud, obviously way by their sell-by date, but still a fantastic thing to get them in. And Rey in there with a 55 as well. Rey will actually staying with us, but he'll be a road agent, and it was just a nice one-off appearance again. Well, we've had Juvi before, because obviously we started this save roundabout when Jericho faced Juvi on AEW, but it's still cool to get them in for obvious reasons. Then we get a wee bit here that helps us in 96. MJF basically comes out and just basically trashes every single cruiserweight. He says, is this what you guys want to watch? Just a lot of wee guys doing flippy stuff? He says, I'm going to be a real world champion. I'm going to go to Double or Nothing. I'm going to take the title from Walter and show you guys that I should always have been champion and I should never have lost it. So in 96, Walter comes down and just says, they might be small, but what they can do is incredible. But remember, I'm completely different. I'm a brawler, and I'm going to slap your chest so much, I'm going to chop it so much, that you're going to just be fully red and be completely bleeding. So, 96, Walter struggling off script, and I was just turning a gimmick on MJF because he was getting stale. He's went from a manipulator to the chosen one, which has also got an initial rating of poor. Shame that. That's disappointing. I thought this match was going to really, really be good. But here they had great heat and good wrestling. Anna Jay defeated Kana in 17:51 with a scissors kick following interference from her tag partner Britt Baker, which means Anna Jay is into the final of the Owen Hart on the women's bracket, and it's going to be Yuka Sakazaki versus Anna Jay at Double or Nothing. A 79, 78 plays a 72. Obviously Anna's way over because of the run her and Britt have been on. But sadly both ladies had an off night, and that's what it's resulted to. So still a pretty good rating considering where we started. But you get so much high hopes that you hope they deliver. And after we get a wee promo from Anna Jay, she just says she's going to choke Yuka Sakazaki out. She has always been the Queen Slayer. She is going to be slaying the women's champion, whoever it may be at the time. Whether it's going to be Mayu Iwatani, whether it's going to be Demi Bennett. And she is going to be the future Queen of the division. And that is an 81. The first of the men's semi-finals about had great heat and good wrestling. I had Keith Lee defeat Austin Theory in 11:10 with a Spirit Bomb. It was only an 81, which is not too bad considering Austin Theory has an injury that he's working through, and that would have hampered the ratings. So Keith Lee got I think it's a storytelling match as well, took the hit on this, because of the injury to Austin Theory, and he'd already qualified, so I gave him the win. And pretty good stuff that we'll see Keith Lee in that final against either Jay White or Kevin Steen. Is that match next? It is. And we had a superb wrestling match with great heat, and Jay White couldn't convince Kevin Steen. They just keep getting on and on. There's a lot of stalling, etc. while Kevin do the right thing. But they eventually get to it, and Kevin wins in 2050 with a package pile driver. Despite a 93 and an 84, this is only an 83 overall, which is quite disappointing. Because both at this moment in time are both heels. That makes sense of why that flopped in that regards. Now we have to start explaining stuff, because a lot happens. After the matchup, Kevin Steen then is just like, I'm sorry, but I had to do the right thing. Adam Cole's like, what you doing? You should have been falling for Jay White. And they argue and argue, then Jay White just starts hitting him and starts beating down Kevin Steen, starts beating him up. Adam Cole joins in. It's a 2-on-1 assault. If you remember, a couple of months, maybe a month or two ago, Sami Zayn was taken out by the Super Elite, powerbombed off the table, through a table, off the stage. We don't get Sami Zayn back though. Apparently we've got the Luchador that's been back in the orphanage helping the kids. El Generico is back, and he's going to have a run here in AEW, and he saves his old nemesis, old friend, everything in the world, Kevin Steen, and he chases off Jay White and Adam Cole, which is an 82. Jay White looked good. And of course, after this, Generico and Kevin Steen shake hands. It's only a 68 apparently. Lack of anything happens. I thought I made this 4 minutes. No, I didn't put it down to 5 to 4 minutes. So it gets the boring, so that costs it a little bit. That's a shame. I do laugh though. Segment was limited for being short. Nothing was happening. But it's basically just them celebrating and the crowd, being happy. But the plan is, first and foremost, we'll turn him babyface. He's probably turned quite recently, so this may flop. But I still want him as a babyface. And it was a complete success. That's good to see that didn't butcher then. Maybe because we left it 14 segments. But the plan is at the moment, double or nothing, Kevin Steen will do double duty, just because of obviously the injury to Darby Allin. It's going to be Kevin Steen versus Keith Lee. It's going to be Kevin Steen and El Generico versus Jay White and Adam Cole. Cannot wait to book that. When I get in a row with these storylines, it actually plays out, and I'm delighted for that. Next up, a wee cheap shot to get 100, only 93 though because of the lack of psychology. I know these two guys would bring it, and they made it steal the show, and I know they've great chemistry. Two guys that have need no introduction to each other, Ricochet and Will Ospreay. And a superb wrestling match, great heat. Ospreay comes off the back of losing the World Championship match by defeating Ricochet in 13:47 with a Stormbreaker. As I say, if Ricochet is a bit more over, if Ospreay and him have a bit of psychology, you probably look at a bit of 95, 96, but still, delighted. Good to see these two get a good matchup together. I think we're near the main event, which is for the Zero-X Championship, because they scored a 96 on a recent episode of Carnage. And they get 90 tonight. Not as good as the last time, but it was a rematch for Hiromu Takahashi as he tried to get back his championship. But it had superb wrestling and great heat, and El Hijo del Vikingo defeats Hiromu Takahashi in 14:23 with a 630 splash, second defence of the belt. 92 and 91 respective performances, 90 in the segment to make sure we get a good score on the show, and we made it steal the show as well. So quite happy with that one. Disappointed in they get 95, 96, but realistically it was just an opportunity to really just show tribute to all our kind of high flyers. And we end the show. Nice wee moment. We see some of the high flyers just all come together. Danielson comes out with them all. But we get the applause for Rey Mysterio. We get the applause for Jeff Hardy. Dominic's obviously sees his dad. Ricochet. And then we get the likes of the Martin brothers, Top Flight and Matt Sydal all take the applause from the crowd as we fade to black. So we finish the show. It's only a 60 because obviously not the greatest amount of overness. But overall, 97 because you need to remember we always do the boosts. We've got pretty much good money. But yeah, I'm really, really happy with that. As I say, I feel like you obviously have the good segment there to help the show. You have the good main event, and it allows you to have that. When you use a certain product, there's a good chance you can just have a bit of fun with the rest of your show. That's what I always do. Main event, spotlight, and strict focus on the angle, so it is always the main angle that kind of takes the majority of the rating. So we maybe could get higher if we had something else to counter that. But yeah, pretty good. I'm just going to quickly jump back to the main screen, just to use an opportunity to see the bracket and how we're going with the own championships. So let's head to that now. I felt like it's a good opportunity just to look through everything. We actually had the show at the same night as WrestleMania Backlash, so we can take a wee look at that one as well. So you can see there, Seidel, Hardy, Cutler, Del Sol, etc., all the way from AEW. I think I've still got some that maybe didn't feature on the show, but that's cool. We'll give them an opportunity. Ichikero, I had him in a previous, I think I had him in like an old TW series like a long time ago. Roman Reigns was the main man for Backlash. They're still getting 42,000. And the new champions was the Vandals. Humberto Carrillo and Reggie have won the tag championships by defeating Ridge Holland and Harlem Bravado. See what else we've got here. Legends of the Sky was an absolute success. That's good to see. Anything else here? So Colton Gunn is back from injury. We have Curtis Axel retiring, as is Casey Owens. We have a pregnancy for Veronica Casper, who will be one of the new generated wrestlers. Disappointingly, I say disappointingly because with Kylan King was someone that was getting a good push on Impact when I was there doing that show, and the aim was to get her up in about a year. Obviously, she's pregnant and she'll not be available now for over a year, so you might see her in 2028 maybe, because obviously we'll need to get her a bit of a run when she comes back. New couple, so the dad is Lee Johnson. There you go. So Lee Johnson is with Kylan King. I'm sure he's not with. I'm sure he's with an AEW wrestler right now. I couldn't tell you who. But there you go, big shotty shooting that shot. Matt Riddle, he'll re-sign his contract on a handshake deal. And that's just letting us go. A lot of people there. Ray Phoenix has been offered the contract by Defy. I'm assuming that is just going to be an open deal. That's fine. You can work with them. I don't mind getting more matches. A lot of people gone. Obviously telling us about Kylan King. That's fine, just telling me about Kenny. Shane McMahon says that Yuka Sakazaki is too small. I'm sorry, Shane, but this... Look at the match history. She had an 85 on Rampage with Deonna Purrazzo, and you want me to release her? She's an 88 with Maya Iwatani, and you want me to release her? Are you crazy? Steve Austin says that Chris Bay, yep, that's fine, he'll be getting a push alongside Ace Austin at one point. And MGF says that Matt Sydal sells the crap, he's gone, don't worry. We get a 37.62 TV rating. Obviously, nobody's going to buy it on pay-per-view while we're on TV. And the attendance was hit because of the lack of bigger names. That's fine, that's cool. Obviously, no Kenny, no Cody, no Logan Paul. But I put it as cheap seats as well, just to give us that opportunity to just have a fun show. So the few I'm going to show you is if I go to my company here, my top 100, so obviously Blood and Guts done really, really well. But you can see there, Walter and Kevin Steen just recently in 99. But it's so good to have, in the last month alone, a 100 and a 99. And the Walter and Will Ospreay were in 98 as well. It's been a good couple of weeks. And you can add in that 96 from Rampage as well. In fact, if we really just go to 2026, you can see there 199, 98, 97 when Kenny faced Darby at Revolution, 96, and then a couple of 94s. But compare that to 2021. My highest show was an 85. It's going to take time and getting people over. And you can see the gradual build up through the years of the shows getting better and better. Once you know who works with each other, once people are over, you're fine. So the last thing I'll leave you with, as I say, was going to be the tournaments. So obviously Kevin Steen versus Keith Lee. We started with Jay White beating Darby because of the injury. Kevin Steen beating Jack Perry, that was it. Keith Lee over Pac and Austin Theory over Andrade. Semi-finals, Kevin Steen beat Jay White. Keith Lee beats Austin Theory, which gives us Kevin Steen versus Keith Lee. On the women's side, we started with Anna Jay beating Kairi Hojo. Kana defeating Bayley Rose. Io Shirai beating Mayu Yamashita. And Yuka Sakazaki defeating Deonna Purrazzo. Which then is left us with those semi-finals and the final of Anna Jay versus Yuka Sakazaki. So next video will be Double or Nothing in a week's time. Already book in Anna Jay versus Yuka Sakazaki for the Women's Own Heart Championship. Kevin Steen versus Keith Lee for the men's, Kevin Steen and El Generico versus Jay White and Adam Cole. AEW World Championship on the line as MJF will take on the champion Walter. AEW Women's Championship on the line as we will see Demi Bennett challenge Mayu Iwatani. The AEW Evolve Championship will be on the line as Logan Paul defends against Hook. And we're going to see Cody Rhodes take on CM Punk. And there is going to be so much more on top of that. It's probably going to be a 16-17 match show with every big hitter hopefully on that card. And of course, I'm forgetting there, Shota Umino and John Moxley against Tyler Black and Ben Carter. It's mad not booking a show on the day and actually having a lot of things prepared, storyline-wise. So cheers for watching, much appreciated. Remember and check out the Fantasy Booker subreddit and the Grey Dog Software forums. Plenty of people out there with some really good written and verbal content. Of course, both places will have good access alongside Be the Booker as well for databases, graphics, mods, you name it. As I say, always show the appreciation for mod makers because the amount of time they put in is quite frankly incredible, and nothing but respect to those guys and girls, of course. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.